Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Welcome back to Thirsty Thursdays. Yes, indeedy, we get together every couple of weeks. This time it was 3 weeks. We have busy lives. We're busy people. We're important, you know. Joe and I, we're the big kahunas. And if you think I'm being silly right now, I haven't even had a sip of beer yet. So anyway, Joe has got a pretty lusty fact check. We've had extra time to sit together. If you're not familiar with the podcast, we get together, we kick around some things that we talked about before and make sure we were right about them or find out that we were wrong. Most of the time we're right, but we have fun anyway when we're wrong. Actually, we're almost perfect, but in general. But we just talk about everything from, for instance, I brought a golf club, an old-timey golf club. It's not that old-timey because it's a steel-headed driver, but it's the size of a pea. I wanted him to show Joe, this young man, how hard in the early 90s when I was a 3-handicap golfer it was to play golf with this tiny little driver, which is smaller than a hybrid, basically, with the shaft the size of a driver shaft. So, we'll do that. We'll talk about we won't talk about politics too much, but talk about history a lot. Talk about silly social history a lot. And because I'm a little older, I've got some old-timey phrases that we sometimes look up. I think I fed Joe a couple of those over the last couple of weeks. So anyway, we'll see. We may have to revisit those in a couple of weeks. But anyway, we just like to sit here, have fun, and enjoy the beers courtesy of Santa Fe Liquors. We've got a couple of good ones today. We'll have some fun with the way we're going to consume these beers this time around because they're both strongish beers. And, if we drank 16 ounces apiece of each one of them, well, we might be super silly by the end of the podcast. So anyway, what we mostly do is what the title says. Thirsty Thursdays, Sense and Nonsense. We are back. We're here to entertain. We're here to inform. We're here to make you smarter and sometimes actually a little dumber. And we'll do so coming up next.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
Cinematic Visions has been an affordable solution for professional media production in Kansas City since 2003, offering award-winning video production and creation, as well as a wide array of digital and social media management services. From planning, scripting, filming, editing, and post-production, to delivering your product to a watching world, Cinematic Visions will provide professional and affordable services for you and your business with the necessary return on investment to make it all worthwhile. Cinematic Vision's goal is to unlock the power of storytelling through video and a strong online presence for your company. Beyond the numbers, they want to inspire and evoke your clients to feel and act. Let my friends at Cinematic Visions embed your brand where it belongs, in your customers' minds. You can find them online at cinematicvisions.com or with a quick phone call at 816-600-6300.
Hey Kansas City, Joe Spiker, Easton Roofing here. Well, it hailed like crazy, and the last thing you want to do is deal with another roofer. So don't. When they show up, tell them you know a guy. An Easton Roofing sign in your yard lets everybody know you want it done right, and it's the best storm chaser repellent you can get. Call us today for a free, no-obligation inspection, 913-257-5426 or eastonroofing.com. Easton Roofing. Integrity matters.
Always great to catch up with Dr. Brad Whittle of Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture. Everybody wants to make every year a great one mentally and physically, and certainly ASFCA can help in that regard.
Chiropractic, acupuncture, physiotherapies, we're going to address the body and the mind to keep you in great shape. With winter moving into spring, we don't want to have the opportunity to get hurt or to be slow and not do what we used to do, right?
Absolutely right, and you can do that in a variety of ways.
We can. We love looking at the body and how it moves, looking at the posture and how it holds us to be strong, to be safe, and really to help us do those things we love to do.
The wide variety and range of services you can get helps in that regard at Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture. 7 locations all around the Kansas City area. Find the one that's most convenient for you. And for more information, visit asfca.com/Danny. That's asfca.com/Danny. If you'd like to join these and other fine sponsors and market your business to Kansas City's #1 variety podcast, contact us at Danny@DannyClinkscale.com. Look forward to working with you.
Back to back.
Boom, boom.
What's up, Danny?
Back to back, belly to belly. What is that saying? I don't know.
What? Belly to belly.
Back to back, belly to belly. There's some saying, and I don't even know what it refers to now.
Wow.
But
I'm going to have to look that up.
I think you maybe will have
What's
to.
up, buddy? An extra week off for your ailing eye, you know.
Yeah, but it's not. The recovery time is still weeks away. So I, Mr. Magoo, my way around the world, wear my sunglasses, rely on my right eye, and
You see a Subaru rolling down the street, just keep your head on a swivel.
keep your distance. And don't play golf, which I could have today as we tape on a Tuesday. Beautiful day in Kansas City. We have had mostly those, so I'm ready to rock and roll, sir.
I've been playing a little golf, Danny.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, you've been...
The
I know.
aroma's good.
The
so
aroma is strong, and as is the taste, my man. We have a Goliath Brewing Company collab with Boulevard. We've got the Haze Cadet.
This is good.
It is a double India Pale Ale. It's got a kick to it.
It does, but it's not. It doesn't taste like a near 8%. I think it's pretty smooth. I'm a fan.
Yeah, it's
Although the aroma was more citrusy than the flavor.
Taste. Yeah, it's very.
I think it's smooth and good. It has a little snap to it that you would expect from a double.
It's got a little bit of that farmhouse ale Boulevard taste to the back end of it, like the what is the 7 Tank 7?
Tank 7.
A little bit of a Tank 7-y.
I think this is smoother than Tank 7, but I'm not a fan of Tank 7, so I haven't had it in a long time.
Yeah.
So I can't really say. I like this beer. I think it's a good beer.
It warms the belly.
And Toppling Goliath is a good company to...
Yeah, we've had them a couple of
we've
times.
had Toppling Goliath a couple of times. So I'm going to go a good solid 7-7 for this one.
7. That's good. That's above
Yeah,
solid.
Yeah, above solid. I think it is above solid. You you seem a little more dubious.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe no. I'll drop it down a 10th. 7-6.
I'm gonna go 7 even on this one.
Okay.
It's got too much of that bitter back end for me. I don't know. It's a little bit bitter.
I'm not.
I need more juicy in there, buddy.
Well, hey, it's not touted as a juicy.
I know.
So, right, if they said this was a juicy, I'd probably, but for what it is, a double IPA, and I'm not rating on a curve. It's to me, it's not that. I'm not getting as much snap as you.
If it's over 7, I buy it. So we're at 7. That's good. Thank you, Pat. It's yummy.
Yes, Pat Allen, who's playing golf today, as a matter of fact. So
certainly,
I'm not.
It's certainly not an inexpensive beer.
I wouldn't think so, but I don't know. I didn't pay for it. So. But it's a nice, lusty 16-ounce can also. So
well, it's okay for us to disagree a little bit. Last
Yeah.
time we disagreed on something. Last time we disagreed on Masters of the Air. And whether
we
or
did.
not that was
Yeah, we did. And I think in the interim, we completed it, and I enjoyed the series. And given your opinion, I was still like, hey, I think Joe and I just disagree. That's all. It's allowed.
Well, so do most people, is what I found out. So I don't know. I didn't know where to go to get a real, objective opinion. So I went to Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
That's where people go. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's got a 86% tomato meter and a 71% audience score. So that's pretty good.
That is pretty good, although the audience far below the critics. So looks like you're in the unwashed, buddy.
Well,
because the lower score is with the audience.
That's not the first
and the
time
higher
I've been
score
told that.
is with the critics. I just thought it was well done, and it was more storytelling than. So did you watch the whole thing?
Oh yeah.
What was interesting is when I've gone through this eye thing, I went through a process over the week that I had to stare at the ground, which I literally had to do for a week. And so at first, before I'd figured out that my wife's tablet wasn't going to work for me because none of her passwords would work correctly, and it's just a mess.
Danny's just waving his arms around.
So I finally figured out a system I just figured out that I could cajole my computer so I could just lay it so the screen was flat on the ground. And I could still type enough or manipulate it enough to work it. And then I hung over the edge of the bed and looked at the screen.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's what I did all day.
Didn't your neck get tired?
Oh, yeah. And I said this for people who don't exercise, I exercise a lot. And I was so sore doing nothing.
Oh,
it made me so sore to be laying flat. And that was better than sitting and looking down, which is what the other alternative is. But I did that some. I'd go outside in the sunshine for a little while and sit on a rock wall and looked at the ground and listen to some podcasts. But anyway, before I did that, the first night I was looking at the tablet, so I was basically whatever came up free I was kind of looking at. So I watched this thing called Popcorn in Bed. Now, I think there are quite a few of these things where people watch movies from the past and you see them watching the movie. And they comment on the film as it goes along.
That sounds awful.
Well, it's actually it was kind of fun, to be honest. And the one I watched was a young lady who was probably, couldn't have been more than 25, but she looked like she was 23 or 24. She was attractive and bubbly. I wouldn't call her an airhead or anything, but, she was enthusiastic. and she watched The Great Escape. Now, this is a circular thing, so I will come back to the, So, anyway, what was fun about it is that Great Escape is, to me, one of the finest entertainment-style movies ever made. Blockbuster, many stars, great story about the Great Escape in World War II. But she had it, you saw basically a 38-minute version of the Great Escape while she was watching it. So seeing, key scenes, so it was a good sort of way to consume The Great Escape again. And what was kind of funny was that she had no idea about any of this. She didn't know the story. She didn't know who Steve McQueen was. She didn't know who James Garner was. She had no clue. But Steve McQueen, she said, this guy must have been a big star. He's got it going. Wow. That is, she was like started getting a little warm. And then she, when the poor guy, tries to bust out because he's done too many escapes and he gets shot in the bar, she cried. I mean, she was like, she had kind of gotten into to the character. So anyway, that was interesting. But the thing that was interesting is that in the last part of Masters of the Air, they are in the POW camp.
Yeah.
The one that The Great Escape was from.
Oh,
Except
really?
they were in the other part of it.
Oh, is that the same?
They were the Americans, and they talked about The Great Escape because they were affected by the fact that the Germans were like, oh
yeah.
Well, they were Americans. They were but at the same time, I watched a documentary about the real Great Escape, and actually, The Great Escape, the movie, most of it is very factually done.
They do a good job.
But there's no Americans. There were no Americans. They were in the other part of the camp.
Okay.
There were some Canadians, but it was mostly British. And in the movie, of course, Steve McQueen's American.
Yeah.
James Garner's American. There are several Americans in it. But anyway, so that was very interesting because I'm watching it, and I think it was the last couple episodes, the two big stars of Masters of the Air are in the POW camp.
Yeah.
And one of them wants to, well, I'm not going to say what's going to happen. But anyway, it turns out they're in the same camp, a different sector of it, as the guys in The Great Escape.
I might have watched that show too fast.
Maybe you did.
And I decided that I didn't like it. But I needed to get to the end of it. You know what I mean?
That's possible. You didn't watch it. I was listening to somebody today talking about listening to podcasts at a different speed. I just can't believe people do that.
No, that's awful. I can't imagine.
As a broadcaster, it galls me that somebody could be listening to my podcasts or this podcast at a higher speed.
Well, I've accidentally hit the button on ours sometimes, and we sound like really drunk because you can take it down.
Oh, you can. Yeah, but most people go faster.
I know. I just mean, sometimes you want to make. I don't know. I don't do it, buddy. I'm a single speed kind of guy.
Well,
right?
there you go.
Like, get me nice normal speed.
So I did listen to a few of those revisionist histories